Hi again, Gregg Bell of the News Tribune from Seahawks training camp, day 13 of camp today. What did we see today? Well, first of all, the Coast Guard was here from base Seattle. About 100 Coast Guard personnel lining the sidelines. A handful of U.S. Army recruiting battalion personnel from the Seattle area here as well. The Coast Guard actually had a hand in the practice. The very last scrimmage play of it, Paxton Lynch threw long to Jazz Ferguson, the recent star, is 6'5" wide receiver, the only guy out here at wide receiver who's bigger than DK Metcalf. The undrafted rookie Ferguson leaped over and basically ripped the ball away from starting cornerback Trey Flowers on this play. The covering official, sideline official the Seahawks hire each day, high school, college area officials, threw a penalty flag as the ball was arriving. He ended up calling offensive pass interference on Ferguson, which I have a feeling Ferguson is used to getting because he's 6'5" and 230 plus pounds. The offensive staff of Seahawks went crazy, throwing their hands in the air and play sheets on the ground. Pete Carroll runs the length of the field to the site of the catch, which was right in front of the Coast Guard here on the sidelines. And he asked the Coast Guardsmen and women, "What'd you think? Is that a penalty or a touchdown?" And the Coast Guard people all said it should have been a touchdown, so it stood as a touchdown. The Seahawks lined up, kicked an extra point, overruled the covering official, and the military had its way. After the practice, Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson, darn near every one of the 90 guys on the roster, broken, hurt guys who just practiced, sweaty, taking off their shoulder pads, some still in full pads, all lined 100 yards long on the sideline, lined up with the Coast Guard personnel to shake their hands. And I heard a bunch of the players, Wagner and Wilson included, thanking the Coast Guardsmen and women for their service. I know it seems trite, and a lot of the NFL have been criticized for staging these military appearances, but I can remember when I served in the Army that very few in the civilian life understood or had much of an interest in the military. And then even before my time in the 90s in the military, you can imagine in the Vietnam War era what the disconnect is between the civilian sector and the military. So it's great to see these type of days, and it's great to see Carroll Ever, the PR and happy-go-lucky, positive guy, getting them involved during practice. Okay, on to the football. What we saw during the practice was Gary Jennings. Remember him? 4th-round draft pick wide receiver from West Virginia. Easy to forget with all the hype with DK Metcalf. Jennings has not gotten the ball much here in the preseasons. I've gotten notes and questions on Twitter of what's up with Gary Jennings. Well, Gary Jennings was way up today in practice, his best practice yet. I counted at least 6-7 catches. Russell Wilson estimated 8 afterwards. Couple really nice ones. One on a goal line play, Paxton Lynch on a curl route hit him, and Jennings just basically bowled through Simeon Thomas for the touchdown, the second string cornerback at the goal line. Another time, Jennings went from the right side diagonally across the field, beat rookie safety Marquise Blair, beat Akeem King, the cornerback on the left side, across the field to the right, caught Paxton Lynch's maybe best throw of training camp on a line, 35 yards right onto his hands, led him in stride for a big gain. Jennings showing up today makes the wide receiver competition even more crowded. It's Tyler Lockett 1. DK Metcalf's going to be the number 2, guys and gals. He's going to be the ex-receiver starting September 8th against Cincinnati, unless something completely changes here the last couple weeks of training camp. And then after that, who knows? On 3rd down, Lockett's going to be the slot guy, taking over Doug Baldwin's old role, it appears. John Ursua, the 7th-round rookie pick, is here because he's a slot receiver. 16 touchdowns in that role for Hawaii last year, led major college football. Where does he fit in? Where's Jerron Brown fit in from Arizona signee last year, free agency? Where does Keenan Reynolds fit in? Where does David Moore fit in, the 7th-round pick from a couple years ago, who flashed with 4 touchdown receptions in the middle of last season, then disappeared by the end of the year? Those are questions that Seahawks are going to have to answer here soon, and special teams is going to be a large factor in that. That is part of what Gary Jennings may have to do. He hasn't done much of it with West Virginia, and I haven't seen him do much of it here at training camp because of his hamstring injury he had in June, sidelined him into late July. No doubt that injury set Jennings back and slowed him, and guys like Metcalf and Ursua were ahead of him, his rookie classmates. But now here's a chance for Jennings to make a move into a crowded wide receiver unit. By the way, speaking of that, Amara Darboh missed another practice today. There is no room for any of that, and his chances of making the team in his second go-around here with the Seahawks after injury is going by the way each day that he misses. I talked after practice with Cody Barton. You might remember in the spring, Barton was playing both outside and inside linebacker and wowing the coaches with knowing both roles and knowing the defense so well as a rookie in his first weeks. Well, now he's strictly middle linebacker. He confirmed that to me after practice. Ever since Bobby Wagner's injury or treatment for a bulky knee leg, the blood spinning treatment that's probably going to sideline him through this second preseason game Sunday at Minnesota. Since then, Cody Barton has been strictly middle linebacker. He's been the number 2 behind Austin Calitro while Wagner has been out. I don't see the sense in playing Wagner Sunday at Minnesota's second preseason game. I do see the sense of preserving him to play in that third one at the Chargers on the following Saturday, the 24th of August. That's usually the final one the Seahawks veteran starters play before they all sit out and blow off the final one, fourth and final one against Oakland. Russell Wilson talked to the podium today, and he said he had no problem with sitting. What's he going to say? He had a problem with Pete Carroll sitting him last week. He said did all the mental reps, did the pregame work, full go, sweating, was ready to play. I asked him, do you think you're going to play more against Minnesota this weekend because you didn't play at all last week? He said, well, I don't know. That's up to the coaches too. I think he will. Usually the starters play around the first quarter, through the first quarter. He could play well into the late second quarter, a few multiple drives because he didn't play last week. Same with Dwayne Brown, the left tackle, Bradley McDougald, the safety, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson on offense. We'll see. All that is on thenewstribune.com and more, and on Twitter at GBellSeattle. Thanks as always for watching.